Alright, alternating between Python and SQL. Let's give this a try. Finding updated records. We have a table with employees and their salaries. However, some of the records are old and contain outdated salary information. Find the current salary of each employee, assuming that salaries increase each year. Output their ID, first name, last name, department ID, and current salary. Order your list by employee ID in ascending order, so smallest to biggest. And they provide us with one table: ID, first name, last name, salary, department ID. Okay, so I'm probably going to have to take the max out of. So right here we see Todd Wilson, and he has 2 salaries. That means we need to query for his highest salaries, as they typically get raises and not go backwards, not pay cuts. So let's do that. Oh man, Tracy got bumped up several times. Let's go. Alright, I'm going to use hints. Identify the data set should consist of unique records of employees for only current year. Is there a year to this? There is not. Alright. There are multiple years of data that can be found for some employees. Until now, at every compensation revision cycle, all employees have received a salary increase, so you can assume the highest salary is the employee's current salary. Okay, so I was on the right track in terms of thinking using the max function. If we do the max, we will need to do it on salary grouped by, well, these are not, are these their employee IDs? There are. Perfect. Okay, let's go back here. Tracy had multiple upgrades, and good. Okay, so we're gonna group by ID, assuming that's your employee ID. This is awesome. I thought this was key and it was just going 1, 2, 3, da 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 da. So perfect. These correspond with the first last names. And what I'm going to do is group by ID somehow. Group by ID. And then, oh, that's not how you make comments in here, huh? Like this, group by ID. Then you're going to do a max function. And let's see, the output should be all details of all. Okay, so we're just going to keep every column then. It says keep all details. Okay, that's fine. Yeah. Let's do a quick Google on how to group by. Group by SQL. Group by statement. Select from where table where. Hold on. Select column names from table where condition group by. I'm just going to copy this nice little template. Select column names. We just need ID in this case. I think I might need to put these in quotes. Table name is this long name. Condition where okay, let's look at their example. Okay, we don't need the where, we just need select count customer ID, I suppose, like this. From this table, group by group by, we need ID. ID is lowercase. Customer, that's interesting. What's your table look like? Customer ID and country. Customer ID and country. I guess for us that'd be salary. We will find out. Select this column, count of this column from this table, group by, oh, they have salary, salary should go here. Replace salary, replace country with salary, okay. So we got that line done from this table, group by, and it should be grouping by, interesting, let's reverse it. Salary, and this should be ID because it was country and country, so my equivalent of country would be ID. Let's give this a run. Oh dear. Well, maybe it's not count. Maybe it's distinct. Let's try that. Distinct. I think I spelled that right. Man, sucks that. I mean, it sucks to not know how to spell distinct. Okay. We're not joining anything. Okay. Distinct. DISTINCT. Maybe there are no distinct variables. But you know what? We're going to select everything. Okay. Select. You know what? We're just going to do this. Select everything from this table grouped by ID. Must appear in the group by dot first name and y must appear in the group by or used in the aggregate function. Group by. Oh, cool! It gives me a hint. Select everything from this table. This is a note. We're airing this out. Select everything from this table, group by ID, max, column, salary, lowercase, salary, semicolon. This is unfortunate. Select everything from this table where probably need to specify max on what? Max on salary. Not sure if that's how it works. Typically you can add the variable in the function that you're calling on. It should look like this. All the columns, just one row per employee. Let's get there are others. So they printed out every column, and then on the salary, they said, look at the max out of, okay, so let's do that. Forget the group by. Instead of selecting everything, we will explicitly say select and then just print out the names or the column headers. Select this, comma, first name, comma, last name. It'd probably be quicker if I typed. But this prevents spelling errors. And salary. But for the salary, we will say max. Wrap that around parentheses. I don't think it had department ID, did it? No, it did. It did. Okay. Then department ID. That includes all the headers. From this table, and I guess we need to do group by ID. Can I just not group by one column, assuming that all other columns are grouped by? Because the ID drives everything. Let's see. Just gonna do ID. Order by. Order by. And I need to order by the ID in ascending order, which they just write ascending. Okay. Find the current salary of each employee, assuming salaries increase each year. Output their ID, first name, last name, department ID. So in this order, their ID, their first name, last name, department ID. Oh, and then salary? Oh, and I need to swap this. There we go. That's the order they want it. ID, first, last, department, salary. From, group by ID. Max. Group by. Oopsies. Salary as max. This person they selected all the columns and they said they wanted the salary to filter to the max, and they did another query where they ranked, oh dear, that looks too complex. Where ID, column, salary, and select. Thank you. Somebody said, okay, what's the answer? Hi, Kevin. Question states that output their ID, first name, last name, department, and current salary. Grouping IDs is enough, but if we want to output the other columns while doing aggregation, they need to be under group by clause. If it is not specific to PostgreSQL, it is not. Oh, okay. Good to know. Then we shall do this. First, last, department, and salary. Which one? Okay. The question says output their ID, good. First name, good. Last name, good. Department ID, okay. And then the max salary. And then there's just one row of each employee. Good. I don't see duplicates in the IDs, which are, I'm assuming, they're employee IDs. And it's in an ascending order. Okay. Awesome. Check. Wow. That was difficult for me.